All right, happy New Year, everybody. What's going on? What's going on? Another new year and another old year in the books, which was a horrible year, one of the worst years ever. Probably the second worst year of my life. The first worst year of my life was the year my mother passed away, but we're not going to talk about that. Speaking of my mother always used to say, you don't have to stoop down to other people's level. And I have to agree with her. You know, in most situations, you try to rise above people who are acting kind of weird or inappropriate or acting crazy. Just because someone else acts a specific way doesn't mean you have to act that way too. But we're all human. I'm human. We're all flawed. I'm definitely flawed. Just got back from the gym today. I'm a little bored. So I got some free time on my hands. And a lot of times when you have free times on your hands, you start thinking of stupid things. You start thinking of things that you normally wouldn't think of because you're busy. So I was thinking of Glovegate. And again, I don't put much stock into Glovegate. I kind of laugh about it. I know a lot of people go back and forth, try to debate with these Glovegate people. And it's real funny listening to the arguments of the Glovegate people, and it's just so ridiculous that it's just beyond belief. You can't. It's so stupid that I can't even take it seriously to even have a real debate about it and even get mad about it. So I look at it as entertainment value. But I'm gonna actually stoop down to their level today, just for entertainment purposes, just to have a little fun. Because as I said, I'm bored. Because they want to go back into Fury's past and talk about the failed PED tests, the accusations of tampering with gloves during a sparring session. And Fury did test positive for PEDs. He was suspended in 2016 by the British Board of Control and was reinstated in 2018. So he got a 2-year suspension for the offense that he committed. He did the crime and he paid the time for doing the crime. Um, did he break the rules? Yeah. Do you want to call him a cheater because of that? That's fine. But again, you're taking one isolated. Good morning, G Funky. You're taking one isolated incident and you're trying to carry it over to an entirely different incident, and you're trying to correlate the two by making a false equivalency, which you really can't do. It's funny. So let's talk about some of the questionable and shady things about Deontay Wilder. Let's go back to that fight. If you want, because you guys love to dig, you love to go back to 2015, you love to go back way back when and try to create these conspiracy theories and try to connect the dots or whatever. So let's look at some shady, questionable things of Deontay Wilder's past. Let's look at this Malik Scott fight. Okay. And we all know that Deontay Wilder and Malik Scott are very good friends. Admittedly, they openly said, both guys, we're close, we're friends. We've been in camp together several times, we've sparred. They ended up fighting, uh, giving each other a payday, which is fine. I have no problem with that. So let's take a look at this Deontay Wilder Malik Scott knockout, and you tell me if this doesn't look shady. Okay. Everybody knows that punch didn't land. The Showtime announcers are trying to do whatever they can to justify it, to validate it. Paulie Malignaggi is even saying, well, Parsh, it didn't even really land clean. No, it didn't land at all. It was all glove. He clearly took a dive in that fight. Now, can we assume or suspect because they're friends, because they've been in camp together, because they've actually admitted to hanging out together and really being good friends and talking to each other on the phone, they're good friends, right? Can we assume, can we think that maybe Deontay Wilder or someone in his team paid off Malik Scott to take a dive in that fight? Gave him a little extra money on the side? Did these guys have a silent agreement? A secret agreement off to the side? Because we know for sure. I can't say we know for sure, but it clearly, let's go back and look at that again. And let's really be honest about it. And let's look at this again. And please tell me if this punch lands, because you can even go down in the comments. Let's look at the comments. Scuba diver. He took a dive. This is not boxing. Okay? For those who, hey, look at this one. For those who don't know, Scott and Wilder were friends outside the ring. Scott did not want to get knocked out for real and clearly took a dive. Okay? I give him an 8.7 on that dive. Everybody on here is saying that he took a dive of the year. I'm not saying it was a dive, but it sure as hell looked like one. Ah, man, I should have known his plans. I saw those swim trunks. Everyone is saying that was a dive. Okay? And even the whole, it was also mentioned in the chat that they were friends. So is that cheating? Having a guy take a dive in a fight? Could that be considered cheating as well? Could we say that was cheating? And because they were friends, can we suspect strongly that maybe Deontay Wilder or someone in his team paid him off to take that dive? So each guy could just get a payday without hurting each other? Doing each other a favor. Let's just get a quick payday. You take a dive. And that way we don't have to go through the formality of punching each other in the face, hurting each other, busting each other up. Just take a dive. Right? That's not cheating. That's not shady what just happened there. Having a guy take a dive. Because he clearly took a dive in that fight. There's no question about it. Let's look one more time. We already read the comments. Everybody in that whole comment section, everyone knows that he took a dive there. And then Showtime is sitting there trying to talk their way out of it and try to justify it and validate it and make it look legitimate. Try to legitimize it. They couldn't legitimize it. Let's look at this again. This is disgusting. One more time. Yes, he did. That right hand did not land at all. Look at him. Look at his face. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. His eyes are clear. His eyes are clear. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. His eyes were clear. He's looking up at him like nothing happened. He did not look dazed at all. He took a dive. He definitely took a dive. He definitely took a dive there. So there's definitely shady business going on there. But no one wants to talk about that. No one wants to talk about that. And quite frankly, I don't even give a shit, to be honest with you. But I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy. So I'm just playing the same game as these Glovegate guys. And the only reason why I'm doing it is because I'm bored and I want to have fun. But let's go. Let's take it a step further. Let's take a look at Deontay Wilder's Glovegate here. Let's look at this one. The night of the fight, not using the original gloves that he picked out and having a second pair FedExed in. The night of the fight. Little glove swap in action here. What's that all about? You Glovegateettes. You Glovegateettes. What's that all about? Let's look at this one. Let's look at this one. And even Andre Ward and Joe Tessitore and Lennox Lewis, they're all saying this is kind of bizarre. This is weird. Something wasn't right. Something wasn't right. Quote unquote, Andre Ward. Quote unquote, something wasn't right. Something wasn't right. Quote unquote, according to Andre Ward. Now, obviously, the second pair was most likely and more than likely legit because the commission was inspecting the gloves. But why were the gloves swapped out in the first place? Was Wilder trying to pull a fast one? Did the original gloves that they had, was there something, were they doctored? Were they doctored in some way? Which is probably even hard to do, but let's play the game. Let's play the Glovegate game. Let's play the Glovegate game that these Wilderettes, these Wilder Glovegateettes are playing. Why were the gloves swapped out the night of the fight? Why was the second pair FedExed in? Explain that to me, guys. Why? Why did that happen? Can anyone tell me that? Can anyone tell me that? So here's two shady things about Wilder. If we want to get technical and play the same game as these conspiracy theorists, which I don't even give a shit either way, because that second pair was inspected by the commission, and you could see the commission right there. And I'm sure they did the same thing, and I'm positive they probably, I'm not even probably, they did the same thing to Fury's gloves as you just saw them do to Wilder's gloves, because that's their job. And then the whole thing about the camera going out. Where does it say that before the fight in the locker room, when the commission and the opposing team member is inspecting Deontay Wilder's gloves, where does it say that it has to be televised? The commission was in the room. JD's was still in the room. So if anything, so now you're saying that the commission and JD's were in on it? So Wilder's whole team was screwing him? And not one of you guys is complaining about JD's, but you want to talk shit about Mark Breland? You want to throw Mark Breland under the bus? That's what you want to do? Is that what you guys want to do? That's the crazy thing. So just because the camera was how do you know the cameraman just didn't have a glitch, which always happens? We always see, how many times have you watched something in any channel, news channel, sports channel, and for whatever reason there's a glitch with the camera, it kind of goes out and comes back, and that always happens. So just because the camera goes out, does that mean that JD's automatically disappeared? The commissioner disappeared? See how ridiculous these are. I don't even want to insult you guys, but you see how ridiculous this is. I was going to say something else, but you see how ridiculous this argument is? But somebody explain to me the Malik Scott fight. Someone explain to me why those gloves were swapped out. What was wrong with the original gloves? Who was wrong with the original gloves? That's what I want to know. Someone explain that to me, if you can. I already showed you that Malik Scott took a dive. And everyone in the comment section, we can go back into that comment section. Let's take a look at that comment section. And I'm not telling you have to listen to whatever other people say, but I mean, the consensus is overwhelming here. That the whole world who watched that fight, or everyone who watched that fight, I would say about 99.9% of the viewership knows. Let's go down and look at these comments. Wilder versus Scuba Diver. He took now there's 2,168 comments. Okay. For those who do not know, Scott and Wilder were friends outside the ring. Scott did not want to get knocked out for real, and he clearly took a dive. Let's view the 15 replies. Your soul is mine. Flawless victory. Ha 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 ha. Okay, who gives a fuck if they're friends? Stop defending that clown Beyonce of the century. They still are. He's with Wilder after he knocked out Ortiz this Saturday, and he fought Ortiz too. So everybody is sitting there saying the whole comment. Sorry about that whole comment section. Hands down, the phoniest KO I've ever seen. Amir Khan and Victor Ortiz couldn't have took that hook in right hand. Could have took that hook in right hand. Dive of the year. This was a dive on Scott's part. I'm not saying it was a dive, but it should look like, oh man, I should have known his plans when I saw those swim trunks. Barely hit him. That's a dive if I ever seen one. This fight was either fixed or Malik Scott is a coward. That left hand was a slap at best. Looks like he took a dive. Award for the best actor goes to, I believe the fight was fixed. If Wilder did score the knockdown legitimately, I'd be willing to bet all my money it was on that left hook, not the right. He definitely hit him in the temple, but it wasn't even a real shot. He was trying to set up the right. It was the softest hook I've ever seen, more of a slap. He took a dive. Just look at the way Scott was on the ground, about to get up, then rolls back. When he went down, his eyes were clear. He was looking up clear as day at Wilder. You could see it. Everybody in this comment section looks like a scam fight. The whole comment section is saying it was a dive. So explain that one. Is Wilder a cheater? Was he in on that? Was he in on that? They were friends, right? And Malik Scott was in camp for a lot of Wilder's fights after that fight, and he was there as a friend supporting his buddy, right? So let's talk about that. Did Malik Scott get paid off by Wilder himself or Team Wilder to take a dive in that fight? That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. Well, that's all I got, guys. I want to wish everyone a happy new year. I'm looking forward to the fight tomorrow with Luke Campbell and Ryan Garcia. Again, Luke Campbell is up like a plus 315 now. Huge underdog. I think he's going to pull off the upset. I'm going with Luke Campbell for the upset. Shock the world tomorrow. Probably do a live cast for that fight tomorrow. Maybe I'll jump on later today, talk about the fight a little bit more. But until then, Beeb is out. Happy New Year to everyone, and be safe out there. And I hope this year is a lot better than last year. It can't be any worse. And I think we're going to have a great year of boxing. I think we're going to get Fury, Joshua, and I think Canelo is going to make some big fights at 168. And I think boxing is going to be revived back in 2021. I think the crowds will be back sooner than later. And Beeb is out. Talk to y'all soon, man. Have a great day, man. Take care, everybody.